Okay, never mind. This is my streamer. This is like my streaming YouTube. I have a this is not my personal YouTube, so all this shit is weird. Oh my god.
You're gonna see sides of her in this series that you've never seen before or may not seem authentic to her, and having her go through the typical teenage experience and trying to avoid making her every other human was immensely important to me, and I hope that care translates. Hi, my name is Jenna Ortega, and this is how I became Wednesday Addams.
Jenna Leal, you mean? Is it still not loud?
I first heard about
Still
the
good?
role of Wednesday shooting a horror film with A24 called X, and I got an email one day that Tim Burton wanted to meet
The queen
me
herself
for
on God.
the role of Wednesday Addams. I was pretty taken aback. I didn't know if he had any familiarity
Tim
with what it was,
Burton!
and also Wednesday
The
I
fuck? I
actually
didn't know
was
he looked
compared
like
to
that.
my entire life, so it was just kind of a weird circumstance. I kind of felt like I was being pranked or something. I was always compared to Wednesday, because I'm very dry, and I don't think people can tell when I'm being serious or when I'm being sarcastic. And I didn't think it was that bad until we were on set sometimes, and Tim might say, oh, that was dark. When I first got offered the role, I did not even consider fan base. I didn't consider it until we were shooting, or when I started having conversations with Netflix and they were talking about things like Comic-Con and Funko Pops. I think that's when it really started to settle in. The internal panic that I faced, the pressure of, oh, people
Wait, there's Funko Pops of her?
live for this character. People tattoo this character on their bodies. She's been a consistent Halloween costume for years. I still panic about her. I still lay awake at night staring up the ceiling thinking, I should have done this. It's been done so flawlessly in the past. And that wasn't a trait of Wednesday. That's something that Christina started. It is scary. It's a lot of pressure, and you want to do justice to someone like her, and there's a lot of
I think she did really
anticipation
good.
And expectation, and what an
Probably
incredible
planned for the
job. And I
future.
think that I had to go to work.
I
every
don't
day and
remember what the fuck we were talking about, but
it's a Netflix show, you know. My mom is an ER nurse. She saves lives. I want to make people feel good, and I want to give them that break. And
she definitely
that's
makes me
all it
feel
is.
good.
Christina
Just hearing her
didn't join
voice
the
is
shoot
like,
till towards the end. I
She did?
was a really
She did,
big
bro. She
admirer
did so
of her
good.
work. The strange thing is we never talked about her being Wednesday once. I think maybe one time on the last week of shooting I made a reference to her Wednesday, but I think that we both were able to appreciate the fact that they were going to be different.
Funko
I
Pops?
didn't want to knock her off,
Oh.
and I didn't want to be doing some impression of her, and I think it was really important that we just kept
that's what they
our-
plan
our
for the
ideas
future?
separate. Physicality wise, it's funny, I think my posture has improved immensely since working on that job, because I always made sure I had a straight back. I didn't move my hands or arms much if I didn't have to. At some point during the first couple weeks of shooting, I did a take where I did not blink at all, and Tim said, I don't want you to blink anymore. So that's another thing too, where it's just weird mannerisms. We try to incorporate things like that. The thing about the blinking is I didn't realize that I was doing it. It just kind of happened, because every time we started to take, I would reset my face.
She's so
drop all the
fucking
muscles in
bad,
my
bro.
face. And Tim really liked the Kubrick stare, where I stare through my eyebrows. It's just a bit intimidating. I think something like that is not blinking. Clearly it's
fuck?
something
Get
with
this
him.
fuck ass out
I
of
trust
my
his
face,
opinion so
bro.
much because he's Tim Burton. It's funny watching him work. When he genuinely appreciates something, he gets excited like a kid. And I also didn't want to seem like I was doing too much with my voice, but I think that there is something about her that
how
is
bad she
formal.
is, bro.
I mean,
She's
she's so
fucking
intelligent. She has incredible
God.
vocabulary.
I'm stubborn,
She's so talented.
single-minded, and
Oh, God,
obsessive,
bro.
but those are all traits of great writers and serial killers.
Look at her. Look how bad she is, bro. Her freckles, bro. She's
I kind
so
of
fucking
altered my pitch a little bit, I think, at times, and also the way that I pronounce certain words. I know that they wanted to bring some sort of realistic aspect to her and make her more of a human being. So I tried, and maybe in more dramatic scenes or more intense scenes, to kind of drop it a little bit.
Attempted murder charges. How would that have looked on your record?
Terrible. Everyone would know I failed to get the job done.
Oh my gosh, she's so fucking She's so pretty.
A normal day on the set of Wednesday. I would wake up around 4:30. I would be picked up around 5:20-ish.
Damn,
So I get dressed,
4:30?
then I go to hair and makeup. And then after, I pretty much go straight to set and I start blocking, and then we start shooting immediately after. And we would do 12-hour days. We would have rolling lunches, so we just eat when we could. After shooting, I might have a couple of lessons. I might go to stunt rehearsal to learn the fight sequence that we have going on for the next day, so I'd do that for an hour, and then I might have a cello lesson, and then I go home. That was my day.
It's so cool that she learned the cello and the fucking fencing. It's so cool that she fucking took initiative to do that. Some of these actors don't even really be doing shit like that. It's so cool. That's a
That was
fucking
my
busy
life
ass
for 8
schedule. Like,
months
fuck.
in Romania. The first time I went on set, I had a walkthrough with Tim. In the first set that I saw was the dorm room, Enid and Wednesday's dorm room, and it was wonderful. They had just put up the stained glass, but I remember also being a bit nervous or a bit, okay, this is gonna be my environment, kind of feeling it out, and it was helpful because I was just getting to know the beautiful, wonderful Emma Myers for the first time, who plays Enid. The dynamic between Wednesday and Enid is one of my favorite dynamics in TV. You know, it's dark storm cloud and sunshine. It's always so fun to play off of one another, and it's very rare that I meet someone and feel instantly connected.
Do you guys think that Enid is bad? Do you guys like Enid? I think she's pretty, but I prefer Jenna. What do you guys think?
Connected or comfortable with them, and Emma has always been that person. And I
They're
think
both
anyone
pretty
with,
as shit,
with her,
though.
she's
They're so
that
pretty.
kind and genuine of a person.
them.
Another one of my favorite people on this planet. First season of a show, we did kind of just jump into it. There was a lot of different things we were doing: archery, fencing, canoeing, cello. When you do a television series, I feel like first season you're still discovering the character and yourself, because we've never seen Wednesday as a teenage girl. She's always been an 8-10-year-old, and you know, when young children say really dark things so genuinely, it's very sweet and charming in a sense where, you know, as soon as someone gets older and they become teenager, it's kind of nasty. It's a weird game to play, especially when all anybody wants to see is Wednesday be rude. That's the kind of the charming thing about her. She says what everybody wishes they could say.
When I look at you, the following emojis come to mind: rope, shovel, hole.
It was something that I tried to play through at certain beats of the show, where if she did have disagreements with someone or something she did do to somebody else was inconsiderate, it was never coming from malicious intent, but just genuine misunderstanding, bringing that layer of innocence back, or genuine appreciation for all things a bit more gothic. But we've never spent this much time with Wednesday. She's always been the one-liner, she's always been the one-off, and you're gonna see sides of her in this series that you've never seen before or may not see.
Do you know if that's her
authentic to
natural hair?
Having
The
her go
brunette?
through the typical teenage
Is she a
experience
natural
and
brunette?
trying to avoid making her every other human was immensely important to me, and I hope that care translates. I do remember though in the second episode, I'm playing with this telescope and I'm seeing something in the water, and when I was doing it I kind of did the eyebrow waves and we were playing with it a bit.
Look how bad she is, bro. Look at her. Just look at her. She's so bad, bro. Like, how could anybody call her mid? Chill, bro, you on Twitch. Okay, I'm not fucking saying anything, what?
And I told him, I said, I feel like a silent film actor, which I've always wanted to do silent film, and it was really exciting for me because I felt like that really encouraged mannerisms or kind of balanced the aspects of surrealism and realism in the film, and that's something I think that he really appreciated as well. So we kept saying, oh, it's like a silent movie, it's like a silent movie. And I think tackling something like that in that way, because they can be very theatrical and dramatic and intense, and that is what the Addams family is, but it is a hard thing to
Did
play
she have one of those
with
big
an
earring
expressionless
loops on?
character.
Like the big
and
loop,
also to
loop
have an
one?
emotional arc as a character and push a series
Is that what that
forward.
is, or
I
is
think
that
something
hair?
that we tried to do
Oh,
when we
it's
were
one
shooting though
strand.
is with
Oh,
every
it's just,
take we've
like,
tried different
long
versions.
stick things.
We'd do the flat version, we'd do a version with vocal inflection, a version with expression, so much trial
She's
and
so
error,
bad,
all
though.
on camera too. I appreciated Tim too, because if I told him, I said, hey, be straight with me, is this awful? And he would tell me yes or no. By the way, he never called me awful. He's too sweet. You work with someone like Tim, it's like he doesn't even know his own name. Someone with a name like his could very easily use it as an excuse to treat people poorly, and I never got that from him once.
There's a wardrobe.
Well, in creating a new Wednesday with Tim Burton, I know that he wanted to establish a different look. It was really important to him that there was something different with the hair, because, you know, it's her iconic braids, but he wanted there to be a very clear distinction that this was a different girl. And I remember
Is that her
we had
natural
a
hair?
makeup test at his place in London.
The brunette?
We
I already
tried
asked that,
silver
but
streaks in my
I didn't see
hair,
anything in the chat.
short, tiny braids, really long, thick braids. We just tried all different variations, and at some point, the hairdresser that we were working with, Paul, he brought out a clip of fringe. There was something about it that Tim really enjoyed, but something about it that was a bit off. So I told the hairdresser, I said, hey, maybe just cut my actual hair.
I don't know.
He said, are you sure? And I said, hey, if we
check.
have time to grow it out, we have time to grow it out, whatever, let's just see. And
Let's
then he
ask him,
loved
let's
it, and that
ask
was something that we married and we stuck to, and I remember him being very peculiar and specific about the look.
You look a little pale.
Please excuse Wednesday. She's allergic to color.
I think a big part of Wednesday's color. Some of it does play in filter. There was a little bit of makeup, but I spent so much time in Romania, and it was winter, that it got to a point where they used to put makeup on my hands and things like that, and they just stopped. I would ask the makeup artist, like, hey, you don't think I need more? And she said, no, it's kind of almost matching your skin tone now. I lost all melanin.
Oh, it's just so bad, bro.
Something that I learned from Wednesdays, I
Lessons
think
learned.
it's always important to play whoever's shoes you're stepping into. Just a real person. Just a real person, because it's very easy to be caught up in a show like this, and especially someone who has no emotion, to be scared to show emotion or scared to do something that's untrue to character.
That's it!
But ultimately, you've got to be true to yourself and kind of trust yourself in that process, and it's just really about trusting your own gut and mirroring whatever it is that you stick to, and it makes it so much easier to let go at your job and explore and have a good time with it.
She's so fucking fine, bro. She's literally so hot.